Hi friends, I thought I'd take you tonight for a lovely walk in the New Forest, which is fairly near where I live, and we are so lucky because it's absolutely gorgeous. Can you see Jeffrey? Jeffrey, the crazy Cocker Spaniel who I love so much. Got him on Mother's Day 2 years ago, and we've also got Ted, the Labrador, and he's getting older now. Anyway, so I've brought you with me to the forest, and we're going to have a lovely walk this evening, and we might see some ponies and maybe even some deer. It's early evening, so that's the kind of time they come out. So I wanted to talk to you today about saying no, funnily enough, because it's probably the hardest word that we ever say, or find it hard to say. I don't know about you, but saying yes, yes, of course I'll do something, yes, of course I'll come, yes, I'll drive you, yes, I'll pay, children, work, everything, we're always saying yes. It's built into us, isn't it? It's built into us to be the doers, the ones who can be relied upon, and it's very hard to actually say no. But sometimes we just need to say no. I don't know about you, but as I get older, I'm finding it a little bit easier to say no. And I'm getting a little bit more, I don't know, there's a saying, mardy. I think it's a northern expression, which means a bit grumpy. Maybe I'm getting more mardy, but I just think sometimes I just haven't got the energy to say yes because of all the things that then I'm opening myself up to. So I don't know if you find it hard to say no, or is that easy for you? Is it easy for you to say, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going. I'm not going to be a social butterfly. I'm going to just stay home in my jammies and I'm not going to do it. Now, someone once said to me, what's the worst thing that can happen if you say no? And actually, when you think about it like that, sorry, it's just so beautiful here. I'm just going to stop and just show you. It's just stunning, and you can hear the bird song and a little bit of traffic. So what's the worst thing that can happen if you say no? And that's an interesting thought, isn't it? Because we worry that if we say no, that we'll really, really be disappointing somebody, upsetting somebody, making them angry or feeling bad about us. You know, what will they think if we say no? Are we being obstructive? If we say no in the workplace, are we that difficult member of staff? Are we that person who, if you say no once, that's it? They're not going to ask you again. But actually, what's the worst that can happen? Actually, nothing bad does happen. Try it. Just try it and just say no to something that you really don't want to do, or something that actually you don't mind if you do it, but you're going to just try it and see what happens if you say no. Because trust me, nothing bad happens at all. And it's quite liberating. It's quite freeing to say, I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. And the answer is no. So we're going to learn to say no more often, I think. And when we say no, it gives us a sense of freedom, of taking back the power and the control in our lives that sometimes, I don't know about you, but you can feel that you've lost a little bit. I think because we've been in these defined roles for so much of our lives, haven't we, as mums and wives and businesswomen, workers, whatever we are, we have a label, and we find it hard to take control of our lives. But as we get older, I think it becomes all the more important, and our children leave home, and suddenly it's our time to be who we want to be, as I talked about in the last video. And so part of that is then steering our direction. What direction do we want to go in? What suits us? You know, I used to be quite sociable. I don't know about you, but, I was, a party animal when I was very young, obviously, in my teenage years. And then as a young family, we socialised with friends and, there's lots of dinner parties and going out. And as I got older, my happy place is actually my home. It really is. And I need less. I need to do less. I just need more peace, more quiet, more of this forest, more open spaces, more place to breathe, time to just enjoy what's around us without having to rush. And that actually leads me on to something that I've been doing recently, and that's decluttering. I've actually been up in the attic. It started because, if I rewind a little bit, sorry, I'm rambling, I lost 4 stone over the last year. And that started from a holiday last March 25. And we were very lucky, and we went to the Caribbean on a cruise. And I looked back at the photos and I was quite shocked, because you don't really see it creeping on in middle age, do you? I came through the menopause, and the weight that came on then just stuck to me like a sad old friend, not a good old friend. And as try as I did, I couldn't seem to lose the weight. So I did then embark on Manjaro, and it's controversial, which is why I paused before saying it, because some of you might have very strong feelings against it. Some of you might really want to know a little bit more about it, and I think I will talk more about it in another video. But for today, I think it's just the fact that it was transformative for me, and losing those 4 stone meant that my wardrobe, my self-awareness, how I felt about myself, everything changed. So I started selling on Vinted my old clothes, and it's been really cathartic, because it's bigger than just decluttering. It's more major than that. It's decluttering the stuff I don't need in my life, and almost preparing for the next chapter, of perhaps retirement in the future, and the children leaving home. And it's preparing for that next step without all the baggage, the literal physical and emotional baggage. And I guess you probably know what I mean by that, is that we seem to laden ourselves down with so much stuff, don't we? And do we use it? No, we don't use it. If you look in my makeup drawer, it's absolutely full of dried old bits of makeup that even my daughter won't steal. And I keep saying, oh, one day I'll get rid of that. But I haven't until this decluttering started. And it's quite addictive. Have you tried it? Is that sort of the stage that you're at too? And, it's actually great, because the more stuff I sell, not only is the attic getting emptier, the clutter, the stuff I would potentially have to leave for my children to sort, I'm doing that. They're not going to have that burden. But also I'm getting paid for it. It's fantastic, isn't it? And, it's kind of, I hadn't tried Vinted before. Everyone keeps talking about Vinted, but I really, really like it. I'm really addicted. And if anyone stands still in my house, they're going to be listed on Vinted. That's how addicted I am. But anyway, so it's decluttering. I've got rid of dress bags and, all the old bags of stuff that I've never worn, but I've always kept, because just in case I can get into it. And it's always been like 4 sizes too small, and I'm never going to fit in it, or, it's never going to be fashionable again. So anyway, I've been decluttering, and if you haven't thought about doing that, I honestly really, really recommend it. It's not only does it give you some money, but it's really, really good and therapeutic to get rid of stuff. And the less stuff I have, I find it's making me happier. It's making me feel like I don't need the clutter in my life. I don't need all of that mess, all of that stuff that needs sorting and giving a home. And seeing it there in the house not serving a purpose anymore. And I think if something doesn't serve a purpose, then, we really need to be saying, should it be in my house? Should it be in my life anymore? And, I think that's sort of where it should stem from a place of you wanting to drop those bags, those heavy shopping bags of life that you carry around with you, whether it's clutter, whether it's things that you're doing where you can't say no, but you just don't want to do them anymore. Put those things down, get rid of the clutter, and just free yourself to actually just think what's important, and don't follow that sort of pressure that we go through our lives with of having more or having new, and and just think what's important to you. What things do you have in your life or around the home that actually give you joy? And if it doesn't bring you joy, or you haven't used it for 10 years, then get rid of it. Get rid of it. Put it on Vinted. Just throw it away. Give it to charity shops. Just get rid of that clutter, because it is really, honestly, so cathartic to do it. So I think that's really important, and thinking about the weight of things we carry, whether it's things in the attic or whether it's things in the house or whether it's emotional things that you're carrying around with you. The more you can put them down, the lighter the load, isn't it? Those things are heavy, and they are. If you were carrying around loads of grocery bags in your arms, and gradually the weight was making your shoulders hurt and it was heavy on your arms, but still you carry it on. Think about that metaphorically, that if you put the bags down one at a time, then it's lightening the load. It's less of a burden. And I really think that, that we carry all this weight around in our life that, we don't need. And the more you can lighten that load, the freer you are, the lighter you are, and you can enjoy things more. You can be out in the great outdoors, enjoying it, enjoying that sunshine, and just keeping what's important to you and getting those things into perspective, giving them the importance that they deserve. It's been really good talking to you about this, because I'm not the best at saying no, and I'm not the best at putting down those heavy shopping bags of life, but I'm learning, and it's such a journey, isn't it? It's just small steps, one day at a time. And part of the reason why I wanted to make these videos is because it holds myself to be accountable, because it's all very well talking about these things, but you have to put them into action. So I'm going to try, and I'm already starting with the decluttering, and that's going well. So yeah, I'm going to carry on until there's nothing left in the house. We did a car boot sale the other day. I don't know whether you're in America or whether you're in the UK. You might not know what I'm talking about. If you're in America, you have yard sales, I guess. And we did that too on Bank Holiday Monday. We did a car boot sale on Sunday, and we did a garage sale on the Monday, on Bank Holiday last weekend. And Sunday was really good because my husband was in charge, and we took £140 on our old tat, which was amazing. When I was in charge on Monday in the garage sale, yard sale, I gave everything away. Which I suppose, it defeats the object a little bit, doesn't it? Because we do want to, get a bit of cash for our old stuff that we're chucking out. But I just found myself, the kids looked at the toys, and I was just like, just have what you want, have what you want. And it's all about that people-pleasing thing, isn't it, again? That I just felt bad taking money from them, and they obviously wanted the stuff, and I thought, well, then they need it, so I'll just let them have it. So in the end, by the end of the day, we had very little left. We got a box of DVDs that no one wanted. I couldn't even give them away. So I wasn't very popular, but again, it's about finding that strength, I suppose, to ask for what you want. Whether it's £1 for a light or something that we were selling, or whether it's asking for what you want and it's a bit of time to yourself. I guess we're not very good at it, are we, sometimes? And something I've got to work on, definitely. I've got to work on that. Anyway, it's been great talking to you today, and I don't know if anyone watched this, but thank you so much if you are, and you take care, and just say no. Bye.